Hello and welcome back to another week here at Heroes and Hooligans, where we're playing Gilded Destinies. As we go into episode 14, Deceptions and Decisions, we find ourselves having just exited Cornerstone Tower and the caverns below it, and our party is heading back to Grandfather's to rest for the evening. They make their way through the forests here around Revan stealthily and sneakily, finding themselves unspotted. And they open the door to the homestead. Who's heading into Grandpa's first? Not super important, just curious.
I would say I would probably be the one to open the door just because I'm overly protective about warding it when we leave. So I probably would be the one to break the ward and then, let others go in before I go in after.
Yeah, 100%. So you open the door, and you can hear your grandfather snoring over in his bedroom. You see one of your cousins, one of the boys, is slumped in one of the armchairs, sleeping. Has a little ashtray next to him with a still smoldering pipe there, so he can't have been out for too long.
I'll tap the pipe and put it out.
I'll say, Coca-Cola, with your high passive perception, you do not hear anything coming from the rooms where you and your friends have been staying. No sound of Jolly's snores or whistle-like breathing.
Yeah, well, I'll tap out the pipe first, and then I'll poke my head in our bedroom while everybody's getting in and kind of getting their stuff set down and such to kind of look. I want to see why it's so quiet in there.
Yeah, you trying to move quietly, make sure everyone stays asleep and all that?
Probably a smart idea, just in case. Maybe Jolly's having like a restful sleep for once.
Yeah, just give me a stealth check.
Yeah, let's see. Are we gonna roll or are we not gonna roll D&D Beyond? Oh, is it popping up over here? Let me look. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Wow, you're slow. My stealth roll should have plus 11 added to it, so 19 and 11 together is what, 30?
30.
Yeah.
Silent. You tap the ashes out, put the pipe out, cover it so that the remaining leaf, is saved and able to be smoked later. And then you move your way quietly across the hewn stone floor of the cabin to the rooms where your party has been staying. Open it and see a small handwritten note propped up against Jolly's pillow. The rest of the party is able to follow along with Coca-Cola as she does this.
Yeah. I'll have like a quizzical, puzzled look, but I'll pick up the note and see what it says.
Dear friends, there is some business back in Sharn that has called my attention, and I must leave to attend to it at once. There is the possibility of my pension being reinstated, as well as a few smaller personal matters that must be taken care of. If you need to reach me, you can send me the letter in care of the trading company, and I'll make sure I get it. I'll report back to you as I can about the state of things in Sharn. Yours, Jolly Porter.
Yeah, so I'll read it quiet, and then I'll, kind of usher my friends in so we don't wake the others up and push the door shut, and, then I'll read it out loud to everybody. Well, looks like Jolly's getting stuff taken care of after all.
I mean, that sounds good for him, at least, right?
I'm a little sad because I had grown accustomed to having his little self around, but best of luck to him anyway,
But yeah, you read this note, have your realizations of the fact that you're going to miss Jolly, the fact that he couldn't really find the time to stick around to say goodbye. Left you with a note in your grandfather's house.
Urgent matters are urgent matters. So it goes.
So it goes.
I have one question.
And you all managed to bed down for the night at some point. Yes, of course.
Have any of my correspondences back to House Kundarak been replied to?
You have not yet picked up post here in Revan.
I mean, that is fair.
So you have not received any direct correspondence. But you would know that anything not urgent would probably be done through a post office dead drop.
Okay. So as we're kind of bedding down for the night, I'll say out loud, help me remember to stop by the post office tomorrow.
Okay.
I need to check my P.O. box.
Alright. And you all bed down for the evening. Does anyone think they have a less than restful sleep?
I think Reznor does.
Probably. Yeah.
What was that?
I think Reznor said he probably doesn't have the greatest sleep, and Kokola as well, because the way that we got down to the bottom was, dwarven blood, so it's like those kind of things turning in her head.
Yeah. So Reznor, as you drift off for the night, you're laying here on this, fairly nice bed. It's got a good pillow, good mattress, soft, and it reminds you nothing of the sleeping back home, where there was often no more than a thin mat of cotton between you and the ground as you moved along the plains and the fields, never really staying in one place for too long. Just still didn't really feel safe. It's not been that long since the Silver Flame came down upon shifters. And you close your eyes, drift away, and you find yourself running through fields of grain. There's blood on the wind. You can smell it. You can taste it. How that meat would feel caught between your teeth. What does Reznor do?
He would.
You don't know what you're hunting, but you know it's wounded, and you know it's going to be so good.
He would continue to track it. He'd want to hunt it down as fast as he could, so he'd probably take off in a sprint.
Cool. Give me if you want to track it at full sprint, give me a survival check at disadvantage, please.
$11.
11? Yeah, you're running in the direction that you smell the blood in, and you come across a massive print, twice the size of your own paws easily, perhaps even more, laid in the ground before you. And you can tell this is some form of predator. There are claws here, but you aren't able to identify the beast by the print itself.
I think he would get a little excited
You
at
smell
that.
it. You smell that blood in this paw print. This is what you're chasing. A foe larger than yourself, but oh so good to eat.
I would say at that he would probably fully, if he's not already fully shift, and do his best to continue to find it.
Is Reznor shifting or raging at all?
Um,
I will tell you that Reznor feels a pit of rage right now. An inexhaustible well of it that he could draw upon if he chose.
if he already feels the rage, he's gonna really lean into the primal aspects of it.
Yeah, there's always a rage to Reznor when he shifts. There's always something there to tap into.
Yeah, he would definitely lean
It just
into
feels like that something is a sea without end right now. All right, and as you lean into that rage, I want you to describe what that looks like and feels like for Reznor as you shift and rage on the hunt.
So all of his features would become more almost canine-like as he grows bigger and he gets sharper teeth. But he also he gets a little bit of foam around his mouth and gets a lot wilder looking.
All right, Reznor, you shift and you are more feral, more wild looking than you've ever been before. You truly embody the beast right now. All right, and you race off through the fields, coming up to the edge of the woods. I'm going to need one more survival check for you. You can make it straight for me this time.
21.
21. You know where this beast is. You can smell the blood, and you can smell the dripping of cave water ahead. And you know that you've got it cornered if you just follow it into the cave.
Yeah, he's gonna definitely go charging in.
You go charging in, and before you see a wounded brown bear.
Oh, you're cutting out for me, Chip.
A large portion of its side from shoulder to midsection completely ripped away. This brown bear stands before you, eyes clouded over and white, breathing heavily. What do you do?
Reznor would probably approach it slowly at first, but as it gets closer, he'd be looking probably just to take it around the neck and end it.
Yeah, as you cross the border into the cave where it sits, you see its hackles raise up as you approach. Go ahead and make me an attack roll as you try to get it around the neck. Use your bite, please. You can use all of your attacks. They are all going to be replaced with your bite right now.
Gotcha.
So you can make an attack, extra attack, bonus action.
First one was an 11.
11 will miss.
Extra attack is a 15.
15 will hit. You see, as you miss with the first bite, though, this thing brings a paw down and bats down on your spine. And you're going to take 9 bludgeoning damage.
Is that already halved?
9 and half to 4.
Okay.
This damage will not restore at the end of your long rest.
Okay. Just to make sure, I get the same temp HP for shifting in my dream?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Any damage you take in the dream will not restore on your long rest,
Gotcha.
though. And we're actually going to go ahead and cut there as your bite closes on its neck. Go ahead and roll your damage. Make note of it. Come back to it.
Gotcha.
As we cut as your teeth close around its neck and move over to Kokola. Kokola, it is not a restful night for you. Somewhat differently than Reznor. Reznor fell asleep just fine and is having difficulty in his sleep. For you, sleep just doesn't seem to be coming as you think of these echoes of dwarves long past and the offerings needed to reach them.
Yeah, it's pretty it's weighing pretty heavy because she just had the interesting encounter at the the shrine in the backyard within the last couple of days, and then now they're going into the tower, which we found a secret place down below, and the way to access it was through a sacrifice of dwarven blood, and those dwarven spirits are extremely angry at anything or anyone. When we got down there, the Valkyr, those are old warriors. That's not something that I've heard in a long time, aside from stories and legends and such. So it's a lot to take in what's happening around Sharn, or not Sharn, but Revan.
Wonderful. As you sit here, you think back and think about the things you found in the tower, the spirits and such. You think back also to a journal that you found that you only had the time to read a bit from. But you've got time now. It's not being spent sleeping.
Yeah, I think she would probably crawl out of bed and head out to one of the comfy chairs in the living room. Her cousin's in one of them, but there's still an empty one by the fire. Someplace she could still get some rest, be comfortable, and use just the firelight to thumb through it and not have to use any other lights or anything like that.
Yeah. You slip out and go sit by the fire, your cousin lightly snoring in the armchair there still, and begin to page through the book. And I'm going to go ahead and send you the entirety of Captain Bryn's journal. You are free to share as much or as little of this as you like. Share. And you can go ahead and read through that at your leisure. If you do choose to read through the entire book tonight, I'm going to say Kokola is only going to gain the benefits of a short rest instead of a long rest.
I am requesting access to you now.
Okay, cool.
No, I don't think she would want to
you get
read the whole thing tonight. Just some things, just probably the pages around the section that they found that says the binding is complete and the tower is safe. That would probably be where she would start and read around that area.
And that excerpt would be between excerpts 3 and 4. So you can read 3 and 4 and then the bit you already have.
Okay. So 3, it says, promotion has come unexpectedly. With the loss of our former captain, I find myself shouldering the responsibility of leadership. The council sees something in me that I struggle to recognize. The Valkyr now look to Captain Bryn Ironguard, and with their trust comes the weight of decisions. I am torn between the duty to protect my home and the unsettling feeling that our newfound power, through a boon, may come at a price yet to be revealed. And then that's excerpt 3, and then excerpt 4 reads, the council praises the strengthening lords, attributing our newfound security to the magical energy harness below. I, too, celebrate the prosperity of
Wyvernstead.
Wyvern. I thought that's what it said, but my eyes are this big. I, too, celebrate the prosperity of Wyvernstead, but in the quiet of my quarters, doubt claws at the edges of my consciousness. The Valkyr must stand united, so I silence my reservations. Duty, family, and the unknown dance in the delicate balance. The mead tastes bitter tonight. Hashtag uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is pretty uncomfortable. After reading that, does Coca-Cola stick with her decision to just read those couple of excerpts?
I think so, because she already isn't sleeping. They have a long trip tomorrow on foot, and she doesn't want to confirm any more suspicions before some good things happen, so she just kind of like, fuck. Like, it's one of those like, oh, shit. It's about to get wild sort of situation.
Yeah, Coca-Cola, so you close the journal after reading those 2 excerpts and go lay down for the night, and your brain drifts as you sleep deep into the stone, where an unknown power waits. Bound, broken, but not yet beaten. Jillian, how do you think you sleep tonight? Was Jill traumatized by the tower?
I mean, she was upset by it, but she's used to dealing with daily trauma in the emergency room or in the clinic. So she's pretty good about just
compartmentalizing.
Compartmentalizing. She probably in the morning she'll probably go and do some offerings and meditate and pray and stuff.
Yeah.
But she goes to bed. She just hits, as soon as her head hits the pillow, she's asleep.
Yeah. Jillian, you hit the pillow, hit the hay, fall asleep, and it is a dreamless sleep for you, as most dreams are. Or as most sleeps are. And you drift away for your full 8 hours. Zen, how you doing as you settle down to meditate and trance for the night?
So I feel like Zen is on the line, right? Like, he always wanted to be a soldier. None of that happened really struck a chord with him. But I do think he's probably feeling, right, more like a outsider than normal, right? Because he did notice that they kind of looked at him weird.
Yeah.
And right, like, he also is curious about the tower, and what else is down there, but he's very interested in the lights and the innate magic that seemed to be going on there in some way, even if he couldn't tell it was there.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, as Zen thinks back on the magic that was there, give me an Arcana check. I'm going to say with disadvantage, because I don't think you directly observed it at any point. Or, you know what? You had that detect magic up. Yeah, just a straight Arcana check, my bad.
17 either way.
17 either way? Awesome. So on a 17, you realize that within that necromantic energy that had those bound spirits trapped before you, there was a bit of something else, something more. There was some conjuration tied in there, and then a magic that you don't quite know how to identify. It's outside of the for you.
Yeah.
It's not divine in nature, nor is it infernal. It's not quite arcane, it just is.
Yeah.
And as you try to picture that one strand of unidentified magic, go ahead and give me a wisdom saving throw.
Is this against some kind of chart?
It is not.
Okay. Had to happen sometime. That's a 4.
Alright, that's a 4. Is that a nat 1 for you, or is that a nat 2?
It's a 3 plus 1.
3 plus 1? Wonderful. Okay, then yeah, a 4. You're just not quite able to follow that thread to see where it ties back to. Like most magic, even in its smallest pieces, has a tiny thread that ties back to the plane of which that magic originates, at least with Arcana.
Yeah.
You just lose the trail. But it's tantalizing. Something about it feels useful for you in particular. And I'll let you know that you can lower the DC of future Arcana checks if you, as a player or character, discover more about this magic.
Okay.
Either by reasoning through it with other players or, just coming to a realization on your own. You can make wild guesses, and I'll reward them if they're correct.
Right.
And well-reasoned. But yeah, and then we cut back to dreams for the last time tonight, as Reznor, your teeth close around this bear's neck. What was your damage, bud?
13.
13. Yeah, your teeth close around this thing's neck, and you bite down, and that sweet blood fills your mouth as you rip its throat clean out. And you hear a voice issue forth. Yes, child. The night comes soon. Run free. Run wild. And know that I keep you in my heart. And your dream ends, and you have a restful sleep the rest of the night.
Okay.
So if that, I don't believe that damage actually chewed through your temp HP, correct?
No.
Cool. Yeah, so no damage left over when you wake up the next morning.
Yay.
And everyone who had their hit points reduced from a heart squeeze gets those back after the long rest. All that fun stuff. Alright, it's about 4 hours later, Zen. You start to come out of your trance for the morning.
He's gonna do his normal, right? His, soldier, PT, calisthenics, whatever, right? Jog around the farm a bit.
Okay.
Do, 3 push-ups and call it a day.
Cool, just give me an athletics check.
$11.
11? Hey, yeah, the
It's a
DC
good
was
day.
5. DC was 5, so 11's pretty good. Yeah, it's a good day. You didn't go back to Kyber, but you came pretty damn close yesterday. And that it's a little invigorating to have been in your element. And you saw what a single capable drow mage soldier can do with an army at their back yesterday.
Definitely.
It'd be nice to be that capable.
But other than that, he kind of keeps to himself. He might, I guess, like, we're pretty far from town. I don't think he would wander. There are things he wants to wander town and see, but we're
It's
like
only
an
about
hour.
it's only about a 30-minute walk to town. It's 45 to the mayor's from town, 15 from here to the mayor's.
Yeah, I feel like he would wait for a couple other people, like, just especially with Jolly leaving. He doesn't want them to wake up and he's just gone, so he'll just hang out.
100%. So you hang out for a couple of hours, get your calisthenics in. You've got your groove back, as Resnor put it. And we come to our next person to rise, Jillian. Jillian, you got your restful, perfect 8 hours. And you wake up the next morning. It's quiet. Zen's already stepped out, as he has most mornings. And no one else seems to be awake yet. You see Resnor just... his blanket is tangled around him like he was thrashing in his sleep, but he is laying peacefully now. And you see Cola with a little bit of a ring around her eyes, laying in bed. She didn't force her way into yours tonight, though. She did climb up to her bunk.
Jillian would take note of her friends that are still resting, and she would walk through the house and then go out to the back and sit near where the bees are, where the bees are doing their thing, and she would sit and meditate for a while.
Yeah, Jillian, you sit and start to meditate. Is there any prayer going on during this meditation, or is Jillian just sort of focusing on the world around her, or is this more inwardly focused?
More inwardly focused. She does believe in a pantheon of gods, and if she feels like something would pertain to a specific god, then she would pray to that god and give them an offering.
Yeah. Make me... It's going to be the same bonus as a spell attack roll for you. Wisdom plus proficiency.
Okay. Oh, a spell attack roll. I did the wrong one.
No worries.
That was a wisdom check.
As long as it's wisdom plus proficiency, it's fine. I think you're proficient in wisdom saving throws.
Yeah. All right, so I got a 28.
With a 28, Jillian, you fall back on some of the teachings that you had in your time being taught as a cleric of the Sovereign Host. And you remember that the Sovereign Host is one word, and the gods are the letters in which its name is written. Their actions are the voice with which it is spoken. It is one name. And you are a part of the host. A piece of it is within you. And you look inward and find that peace, that place of wholeness and healthiness. That place that feels like home. And it feels a lot like being the second person awake and seeing two of your friends still sleeping and watching out for them. It feels like making a probiotic smoothie for an old man that puts a pep in his step for the whole day. It feels like learning about your friend's new form of worship and attempting to be a part of it. with the stone arches. It feels like making mistakes and being forgiven for them. And I think Jillian feels whole. For the rest of the day, you'll make all wisdom-based ability checks and saving throws with advantage. And by the day, I mean this session.
It's gonna be a good day. I just know it's gonna be a good day.
Alright, who do we think is next to rise between Reznor and Coca-Cola?
I don't know, man. Usually Cocola's up pretty early, but last night was kind of rough. What do you think?
Reznor,
I would say
probably would-
Reznor wakes up relatively early.
Yeah, you got your full 8 hours all in a row, and you got to sleep pretty quick. It was just,
Fitful.
busy sleep. Yeah, eventful. So yeah, Reznor, you wake up and you actually smell sausages cooking in the other room.
He'd probably get up, and he might not remember all of it, but the bits of the dream he remembers and the primal feeling, he'll probably leave. He won't be like loud or quick, but he'll leave to go out into the woods near the house.
Wonderful. Sounds amazing. Zen and Jillian, you both also start to, in your respective places outside, smell the smell of sausages waft across the fields. And Reznor, you head out towards the woods. Jillian and Zen, what are your passive perceptions? Jill, you can add 5 to yours since you have advantage on wisdom checks right now.
14. Did not think it was that high.
Passive is 15. Plus what was it you said, another 4?
Plus 5. So
Plus
20.
5, okay, so 20.
Jill, I know you for sure catch Reznor on his way out, unless Reznor, you're actively trying to be stealthy.
No, he's not actually trying to be stealthy.
Alright. What's your passive stealth? Just 10 plus stealth.
10 plus stealth. 14.
14? I'll let you call it. Does Zenlin see you or not on that tie?
Yeah. Reznor's not trying to be sneaky about leaving, so it's not like he would avoid anybody.
Yeah. So yeah, Zen and Jill, you both see Reznor slink out of the house and move off to the woods. Your paths don't cross unless you try to make them cross, but you could if you wanted to.
No, Reznor can have his time.
Yeah, I think Jillian would just see him go and just let him go.
Alright, so Reznor, you make your way out to the woods, and immediately you notice that there are more of those markings on the trees, and there is one that covers the marking you made as if in response.
How big is the tree?
This tree is about, I'd say about a 2-foot diameter. It's a good sized tree.
So Reznor is going to go to the tree that he marked and that another has marked over. Mm-hmm. And he's going to keep feeling the primal urge. And he's going to do a little bit of a different workout where he's kind of going to use the tree as a punching bag.
Okay, cool. Give me... Is Reznor trying to break the tree, or is he just hitting it and trying to leave a mark?
I will say with how he feels and the fact that someone covered his mark, he probably rages to try and take the tree down.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and just give me a athletics check. And I think this is at advantage since you're raging.
22.
22. Reznor, you rage. You throw yourself against this tree and fully split the trunk. It is tipped and is ready to fall and is hanging together by splinters. Go ahead and give me a wisdom check. Let's say survival.
21.
21. As you see this tree continue to crack and fall, you know it's going to fall on its own and break the rest of the way just from its weight. You see that marking begin to stretch and split, and you realize that it's not them marking over your mark is not intended as insult. It is acknowledgement of your presence. As you see, the mark is one of deference. It is, we did not realize this was someone's territory. We will respect your reign.
Once he sees that, and after that fit of rage, he starts to calm down a little bit. It's not as fresh as it was. He'll back up.
It's not, but it is. What is fresh is the rage you just felt at an insult that didn't exist.
Yeah, he'll kind of shake his head, knowing he's not fully in the right mind now. And he'll kind of sit down on the trunk of the tree after it falls.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll just close his eyes and kind of relax and take in nature to try and calm down.
Cool. Yeah, give me another survival check. And tell me, do you think Reznor brought his full kit with him? Like, does he have his weapons in his armor?
19 for the check. No, Reznor would have just left barehanded.
Reznor just woke up and walked out. Cool. 19?
Yep.
You don't know where they are, but something's observing you in some way or another. You don't, whether it's listening, watching, whether it just smells you, you can tell that you're being observed. It doesn't feel like threatening, but something's got its eye on you.
Reznor still kind of just try and relax. And once he feels himself back in a decent state of mind, he'll look around without making it obvious. And if he can't spot anything, he's not going to pressure it too far.
Give me a perception check.
Dirty 20.
Just behind a bush, there's a shape, large and hulking, almost like a bear, and then it fades from sight. You can no longer see it.
I'll say he kind of probably stares towards that way for a little bit. Once he notices that he no longer sees it, he'll get up and probably slowly walk his way back.
Okay. Yeah. So Reznor, you make your way back to the homestead, where Kokola has woken up shortly before you head back. Kokola, you wake up, and I'd say this is about the time Jill and Zen are both getting back to the homestead. You smell sausages in the other room, and you see none of your friends around you. You see some of their gear. Reznor's left his battle axe in his armor.
Yeah, I'll get up and get myself together. I think she'll probably actually skip her morning routine since she didn't wake up as early, where she opens her travel chest and cleans everything, yada yada. I think she's just not having the spell slots to do so today.
Mm-hmm.
So she'll just kind of get dressed in her normal stuff, strap up her thigh straps for her daggers and all of that yada jazz, and grab her bag and bring it out. The journal in her bag, but very close to the top. And she'll just kind of like set it next to the table where she sits down. She doesn't really have much to say. She'll look and see who's cooking because,
It's your cousin. Your
My
cousin's
cousin.
cooking for everybody. Yeah, he's got a full spread. He's got a full spread out. He's got eggs. He's got sausages. There's some toast.
a full dwarven. That sounds
of
about
course.
right.
Of course. Well, it's a half dwarven. There's no tomatoes or pudding.
Half dwarven works.
But there is a lovely little line of 7 glasses of ale.
Yeah, perfect. That's, I think, the first thing she'll do is sit down at her spot and drink her mead, and then have beans on toast. If you made beans, if not,
There's beans.
then beans on toast. That's what she'll have. But very quiet, not a normal Coca-Cola in the morning at all.
Yeah.
And I think that pretty much everybody that knows her and has traveled with her knows that that's not natural.
Yeah, and you see Resnor, you get back about this time. He's set out 7 places at the table. The 4 of you, your grandfather himself, and then there's 1 empty slot. I've asked a friend to stop by if you don't mind. I hope that's okay. I figured since the house is so open now, you might like to meet them.
New faces. Sure. Anything for you, grandfather.
This is your cousin speaking, actually.
Anything for you, cousin. Which one is it? Philly or Killy? One of the two.
This is Philly. And it's spelled Philly like the horse, actually.
Philly, Philly?
I think horse is
F-I-L-L-Y.
F-I-L-L-Y, yeah.
Oh yeah, I was thinking PH.
No. That's a cousin on your mother's side. Guy's weirdly obsessed with birds.
That's fair. Thanks for breakfast, by the way. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. I figured if I'm inviting a guest, I might as well be the one to cook for them. Anyway, he should be along any time now. And you actually hear a knock at the door. Does one of you mind getting that? I'm still keeping an eye on this last little bit of eggs here.
I'll get it.
You go up, open the door, and you see a young, masculine gnome who has a little bit of a bald spot right at the back of his head. Oh, pleasure to meet you. I'm Greth.
Nice to meet you, Greth. I'm Coca-Cola. And then I'll kind of open the door and let him in.
Alright. And he comes on in. Zen, you immediately recognize this as the gnome who you stopped and spoke to in the street the other day.
Oh. Is he the one who, told us we could talk to the mayor or go to the offices?
Yeah, he's the one who told you that and also told you to approach his mom for a discount on candy or wine or such.
Oh.
If you were willing to give a discount for your services in turn.
Which I think we said we would. And I think we went
I think
you
said you'd think about it. Because he was very impressed by your not committing to a deal that you didn't know the particular
that's
shop.
fair. That sounds like Zen.
But yeah, he walks in. Oh, hello! How are you doing, friend?
Oh, good. Hope you've been well. It's been a few days.
Yes, I've been quite well. I actually, bit surprised to see you here. Wasn't the setting I expected to see you in next, but yes, pleasure to see you again. It was Zenlin, correct?
Yes, Greth, was it?
Yes, Greth.
Where did you expect to see me again?
Probably at my mother's stand, or, trying to hire you for a job.
Fair.
I mean, I didn't really expect to see you again in the first place, to be honest. But if it was going to be somewhere, I suppose one of those two places? Well, sorry, bit nervous. Meeting the family for the first time always, puts you on edge.
Are they
Wait a minute.
lovers?
Yeah, you see your cousin
Aw,
Philly turns around.
that's
You see
sweet.
Philly turns and is, well, not how I meant to spill the beans, but yes, this is grandfather, this is my intended Greth.
I mean, Cocola's not mushy, but Huli as a person is mushy, and I think that's just so sweet.
Yeah, and you, I think, Huli, or Coca-Cola, you catch the way that your cousin says intended. This is, like, they're engaged.
I'm just gonna give him like a knowing look between the two of them, but like I'll look at Greth first and then at my cousin, and on top of the knowing look that I'm gonna give my cousin, I'm gonna give a like, hey, you could have said, like, bro, sort of look, you know?
Yes, and well, grandfather, that's not the biggest news I was wanted to tell you. I appreciate your approval on this matter, because, your approval matters to me, but it's not the end-all be-all if you can't give it, because it's going to happen either way. And so is this. I'm quitting the meadery. I'm going to go work with Greth and his mother at the shop. And your grandfather's sitting there, kind of stone-faced. Well, I can't say I didn't see this coming. Not this in particular, but you boys never really had the passion for the meadery that the rest of the family did. And, you go with my blessing, Philly. You'll always have a place in the family business if you want it. And your grandfather pushes back from the table, leaving his meal completely uneaten, and walks over to his room, closing the door behind him.
So that was I give you approval because I have a house full of people, but I really don't like your decision sort of thing.
More, I give you approval because, give me an insight check.
Alright, let me do it from this because it doesn't have to go great for me. Insight. I'm alright at that, I think. 21.
Less, I'm giving approval because there's other people here, and more, I'm giving approval because I love you and want you to be happy. But I'm sad because I love you and want you to be happy in the family business with me. And I'm removing myself from the situation before I say something I regret to one of my grandchildren for the second time in 2 days.
I mean, that's fair. But Coca-Cola, knowing that, she would have this sort of feeling of hypocrisy inside of her from her grandfather, given the fact that he's the one that reached out to the mayor and signed management of the meadery over to somebody that's not family. So she feels like
I'm going to say, you got a 21, right?
Yeah.
As your grandfather says that bit about knowing that Philly and his brothers never really wanted to be involved in the family business, you get the feeling that that's maybe why. Like, it seems like your one cousin did kind of get stepped over a bit, because your grandfather honestly viewed her as weak. But for the rest of them, it's there wasn't an interest, or at least enough of one that he could trust them to run the business, he felt.
Okay. I think she still feels that sort of pang, that sort of like, not necessarily anger, but just like a sort of feeling of malcontent about it, because obviously she comes from the Kundarak side, which is a matriarchal family, and the Iron Gut more patriarchal. And, you know, passing over my cousin has been the biggest issue and something that we have already previously argued about. So I think it's just something that is, it offers her a bit of upset.
Yeah, completely. But yeah, you are here in the main room of the homestead. Your grandfather has gone and shut himself away. Your cousin and his partner are here, and they both look a little shell-shocked. Greth recovers a little more quickly and says, well, I guess that's his blessing given then? Perhaps we should just give him some time, dear. And he walks over to Philly and pulls him into a hug. You see Greth's, a good 1.5 feet shorter than Philly, so it's like his face up against Philly's midsection.
Mm-hmm. Hey, he's just more traditional, Don't take offense to it. And if the meadery isn't where you're happy, then go do whatever makes you happy, because you have to live your life long after everybody else is gone. So don't worry about any of them. Just be you and be happy, because love wins.
Inspiration.
I like inspirations.
As Greth hears what you're saying and smiles up at Philly, and Philly turns, smiles down at Greth as you say, find what does make you happy, and says, you're wise beyond your years, Yukola. And you deserve that silver patch.
Thank you. That means a lot. I was worried that you guys would be upset at me about it, and I hadn't really had a chance to talk, but since you don't really have any interest in the theory, it makes sense.
Look, when Mother disinherited herself from the family, and we thought it was going to be one of the 4 of us next, I love my brothers, I love my sister, none of them are fit to run the family, and I sure as hell do not want to.
That's fair. But it didn't keep me from having, we grew up together, we're cousins, and you guys grew up more here than I did. I was more in Sharn, so it's one of those, feelings of guilt when I felt you were passed over, but I obviously didn't know the inner workings of things because I did miss a lot, so I'm happy that it's not an issue, and that I'm also happy that you're going to be happy, not under the weight of family business. Yes,
I will. And you see that you all sit down and have a nice breakfast from here. About 10-15 minutes later, grandfather comes back out, silently moves to his seat, begins eating, and it's only about 5 minutes later that Greth makes a dumb joke about stocking only Iron Gut mead in addition to wine. And your grandfather cracks a smile and says, well, hey, the business always can expand.
If you need any help wedding planning, I happen to be an excellent party planner. And Jillian, she could probably do the ceremony if you wanted her to. Right, Jillian?
Oh. Well, we actually hadn't talked about what we would do for the ceremony yet. We're not quite ready for that, but we'll speak on it.
Listen, I don't plan on getting married. I don't plan on getting married ever. So the more hands I can have in somebody else's wedding cake that doesn't belong to my own self, the better.
Whatever you say, Coca-Cola.
I'm not getting married. Cocola's never getting married. She's going to retire with a bunch of pet cats. And
Say,
Jillian.
have you met, actually, there's a man I think would be just wonderful for you.
I'm kind of like you guys, right? How you're batting for the same team. I'm kind of the same way, right?
Ah, okay.
So no male suitors, thank you.
There's a woman who I think would be just perfect for you.
We'll talk about this in another 50 years.
We could talk about it after work tomorrow at the bar.
I agree with the bar part, but
You know what? Are you working at the docks today?
No, actually, I don't think we
Okay.
are going down there today.
I wasn't sure if you were on the schedule for far or not. Then yes, tomorrow after you're done with your dock work, meet at the bar in the meadery.
I'll take you up on the drinks.
I'll bring the other cousins with. We can all get together and have a good time.
Yeah, that sounds lovely.
You were barely sipping ale last time I saw you. You know, we have to see you with some mead here.
I hold my mead rather well, thank you very much.
And yeah, you have a lovely, pleasant breakfast.
Yes.
What are we doing as we move into the day?
Well, on Cocola's little notepad, she's got a list of things to do. And it says, meet the Rockfoots, meet with the hunter, check the mail, send mail, and buy the tower. So that's their to-do list. So I think we're going to head off towards the Rockfoots. That was our plan today. We wanted to speak with them.
I thought you had something. Didn't you need to go to the post office?
Yeah, we can do that on the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe whatever we need to do in town. I was hoping. Do you know? Is there like a library or somewhere in town?
Why do I keep thinking Rockfoot? I don't know. Chip, do I know if there's a library in town?
There is not a public library in town, though there are a couple of bookstores, and some people are known to have private collections of books that they'll lend out occasionally.
So I'll say those things.
Yeah, maybe stop by one of the stores. I'd like to see if I can find anything on the history of the region or anything, as well as a couple personal things I'm looking for.
Yeah, that would be fine. When we get into town, you can head off to the shop and I'll head off to the post office. I need to check and see if I have any mail, and then I also need to send some mail out. So we can do all of that. Since we have to go through town to get to the other side to go to where the rock burrows are anyways, it just makes sense to do those things on the way through. You're muted.
Did we have gold? I don't exactly have a ton of it.
Yeah, I have some. How much do you need?
I mean, I can't imagine books would be that crazy. I couldn't need more than like 20 gold tops. And if I spend all of that, something's wrong.
I'll give you 19 gold and 5 silver.
Okay.
Because then it gives me an even number in my inventory, and I like even numbers.
Works for me. I'm not looking for like magic books. So if these books cost me 24 gold, this town is robbing people on books.
Yeah, you think you should be fine.
Grandfather, do you need anything while we're in town? Do you need us to bring you anything back for the evening?
I think I'm all right.
Okay. How you feeling? You feeling all right today? How's your smoothie?
Oh, it's fine. I'm feeling all right. I've got to get out and get the honey out of the apiaries later.
Oh, that sounds like a pretty standard day.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we'll be back in time for dinner, but there are some easy things to have up. There is some like dried meats and cheeses and breads in the larder if you don't feel like cooking anything. There is still some stew in the pot. It's not a whole lot, but enough that if you eat it, there'll still be some of the seasoning there in the pan that I can make more. But I'm not sure. I don't want to say that we'll be back for dinner and then you expect us and then we end up running late. We have errands to run today, business to attend to, and such.
Yes. Well, I tell you what, if you're not back by the time I want dinner, I'll have stew and a sandwich.
That sounds perfect. Good. Hey, while we're sitting here before we head out, I think we mentioned this to you. We're thinking about buying that tower there, the old tower.
The cornerstone?
Yep, that one. That's the one. We're meant to meet with the hunter, which I believe his name is Fetherick. We're meant to meet with him, but I was just kind of curious what you know about the tower. You've been around here for quite some time. What do you know about it?
Well, I know that it's used to be the cornerstone of the old fort wall. Hasn't been anyone living there, at least not since before I was a boy. Probably at least a couple hundred years longer. It's all that was left of the old city after the raid on it years and years back.
Oh, do you think? Well, it needs some work. You can see it's a bit dilapidated from the outside. You've been in business a long time, and you're fairly business minded. You think it's a good investment for us?
All depends on price and what you want to use it for, I suppose.
It is 40 platinum pieces, and it also needs work, and we plan on using it for our company that we wish to start as sort of like our base of operations and such. Like
Right.
this building
Well,
or whatnot.
I know that land parcel comes with river rights, and you haven't explained too much about the company for me, but it's something to do with lightning rails and shipping.
Yes.
So river access could be quite good there. You could potentially get a permit from the mayor as long as you're on good terms to build a bridge through town. That way you could run the rail right through.
Yeah, that would be
Do
really
you think
nice.
that's something people would like? We thought maybe if we kept it on the outskirts, that might be better. Do you think people would want a rail running through town?
I think people would be excited enough by the novelty that they wouldn't feel comfortable bringing up their dislike when it occurred. And that's what you need to be concerned about for the profit.
Fair enough. River rights is that actually does make the 40 platinum pieces feel a little less heavy on our pocketbook, because having that sort of piece of property to add to our commerce really makes things nice.
And
And
it gives us a
speaking of-
large jumping off point.
Yeah, speaking of and of the lightning rail, and since we're talking business and such, even though you're not as hands-on at the meadery, we would like to contract with the meadery to serve iron gut on our lightning rail, and also offer the ability to kind of ship it farther at a better price. What do you think about that?
All right. Well, I'm very intrigued by the idea. You'd need to have the infrastructure in place before any decisions were made. But no, I think that would be quite good, quite profitable for both enterprises.
I'm glad we're talking about this, because we hadn't really sat and really discussed our purpose of business, because even though we eventually would like to open the lightning rail here, our initial business here is going to be, offering assistance, odd jobs, or hunting or, taking care of wyvern problems, things of the such.
I'll be quite blunt with you, my dear granddaughter.
Yep.
My business with you is ensuring that I have a heir who is sufficient to the task. And any other business you choose to undertake along the way will have my full support, as long as it does not bring shame and dishonor to the family for you to do so. So, I'd prefer no drug running or smuggling of people.
Oh no.
But other than that, you have my full support, darling.
I will reassure him with I'll pull the official charter that we have out of our bag, the one for the trading company, the Bruxhaven charter that we all have a copy of or whatever, that's got the little seal and stuff. I'll pull it out and I'll show it to him like it's 100% legal. This is what we're doing. No illegalities. It's just another lightning rail that's not tied to one of the great houses, which could be potentially problematic in the future if they decide they don't like it. But
and you have. Well, let me take a look at the contract, and your grandfather is going to roll the check here. If anyone wants to give him any guidance or help or anything, he's going to try to parse through this contract.
yeah, I'll offer assistance, so he'll have advantage. But I don't have guidance, so I can't do it.
Yeah, you can give him help. Alright, so he will just be rolling this with advantage. Good thing, too. Alright, so that is... Alright, cool. Your grandfather reads over the contract, looks up at you. You do realize there's not a clause in here about personal indemnity versus the companies, yes?
Yes and no. I think we did kind of know that, but it wasn't really weighing at the front of the mind.
I think we brought that up, but it's kind of like getting in on the ground, right? We got a business just starting out, so it's kind of, as founders, we have that liability as well.
Yes. Just know that, if any crimes are committed in the company's name, they'll be added to your record as well.
Yeah, which is why when we were discussing buying the tower, we were discussing putting it in the name of one of us rather than in the name of the actual company, just in case, because it's still very new. We're still kind of feeling it out a little bit and such. So,
well, if you really wanted to make sure that the tower was safe from any financial reparations that may come upon you as part owners of the company, what you need to do is create another company that all of you have partial ownership in and someone else has a share of as well. So you would say give one person a 4% share and then each of you takes a 24%. That way the the tower cannot be taken from you because it doesn't belong solely to you.
That makes sense. However, I do think eventually we were hoping the tower might be a way station here.
Cool. Rent it out to yourselves.
Yeah, that works. That's actually smart. Grandfather, would you mind being that extra shareholder?
Well, happily. Though I will have to pick one of your cousins to leave my share to upon my death, otherwise it would revert to you.
That's okay.
Which brings you back to Screwed again.
I would like you to, if I could have a say in that, if you would leave it to Philly.
I'm just watching it for you. Oh, to Philly?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. Keep him involved that way.
Yeah, and also it'd be a good sort of nest egg for him and his partner whenever they're older and such,
Yes, that's very sweet of you, Coca-Cola. You're such a good girl, such a good girl. And he pats you on the hand.
That does bring up
and
a
you
good
see
question, though.
You see he actually reaches into, stands up, walks over to a desk, and pulls out a scroll. Should I start writing up a contract for the formation of a new company that will be divided as such?
Yeah, that would be perfect.
What do we
I would
call
like
ourselves?
to offer him, even though he's probably going to tell me no and not want to take it, I am going to put some of my own personal gold to pay him for the services of the contract. Because that's something a notary would do for you or whatever.
Yeah.
I want to make
No,
sure that
He'll actually take the gold. This is fair. This is fair earnings for fair work.
I'm going to give him 10.
Cool.
know
And yeah,
that's-
he's gonna go ahead and try to write up this contract. He's gonna be making the same check as he did to parse the other one. And the higher the better, because that means the more legally protected you are, thanks to grandfather's knowledge of loopholes.
Yeah, I'll offer assistance. And if you could give us some guidance from the sovereign host, that would be.
And he'll leave a space blank for the name of the company for now.
Okay.
So Jill, are you gonna cast guidance on him?
Yes.
Wonderful. So he'll add a D4 to this as well. That's a 4 on the D4, a 6 on the lower of the D20s, and a 19 on the higher, bringing us to a 25 total. Grandfather is a contract whiz.
We're not naming our company Reznor.
What?
We're not.
Rails exceptionally set neatly on the roads.
No,
I
we're
love it.
not naming our company Reznor.
That's not.
We have to. We have to at some point.
Brookhaven isn't shipping. Like, they are called a trading company, but they're running the rail. We could be the shipping side of it.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I was thinking-
like that.
I was thinking putting it would just be like, since it's going to be the LLC or whatever,
Yeah,
we could just do like one letter of each of our names,
yeah.
like
Well, yeah,
JR.
that's where XKJR shipping, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds fine to me.
All right. So you are going to go with XKJR shipping. Your grandfather writes this in on the contract and says, "I just need signatures here, 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 and here."
Would you say 24% and then 4% times
Yeah,
4?
24, 24. Yep,
Yeah.
24 split between all four of you, or 24 for each of you, and then 4% for grandfather.
Yeah.
Right. I'll be off to file this with the mayor's office immediately.
Thank you. Appreciate you, grandfather. You know what? I'm gonna give him like a side hug / pat on the back for like appreciation. Like,
Yeah.
thanks for looking out for us.
Yeah, he appreciates it. Gives you a little squeeze back with the side hug.
It probably
and then-
makes him feel useful, right? Because he's just been doing honey and things like that and not really working in his normal business. So he probably feels it's like a sense of rejuvenation.
Yeah, you see he rolls the scroll up, tucks it in a little scroll case, slings that over his back, grabs this nice walking stick, and you can tell immediately this is a vanity walking stick. Your grandfather doesn't need it. And sets off down the road towards town.
Perfect. We're gonna head probably the same way. If everybody's ready. I think that's our cue to get our butts a moving too, yeah?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you
let's
guys
get going.
you guys all head off towards town. You make it there, and you realize your grandfather, like, for an elderly dwarven man, pretty damn fast. Like, he's just walking, and he's keeping pace with. What's your speed, Kakola? Just the normal dwarven speed?
25.
Yeah, he's keeping pace with you when you take like your bonus action dash and your dash.
I mean, he did spend a lot of years moving quickly around the meadery, so I'm actually really not surprised.
For a little peek behind the scenes here, Grandfather is statted out as a mastermind rogue.
Oh, that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. All right, into town we go. New business adventures, feeling good.
You make it.
No.
You make it into town, and just right as you cross the bridge in, you see just up ahead of you the church, and to its right the post office.
Yeah. So I'll leave.
You see your
those guys to go
grandfather
shopping.
continues further down the road. Oh, you see your grandfather continues further down the road towards the mayor's office to file your contract, and you're heading to the post office, correct, Krakola?
Yeah, I'm gonna let the others go shopping. I know they don't have to go with me to the post office. That's boring and lines and all of that kind of stuff.
Cool. And Zen, you are going to the bookstore, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Where is Reznor going?
Reznor would probably keep with Zenlin. He might not be interested in books, but he's gonna stay with his buddy.
I gotcha. And where's Jill going?
Jillian's going to go to the bookstore with Zenlin and Reznor.
Cool. So Krakola, you're splitting off by yourself over towards the post office. You get there and you do see that there's a bit of a line. It's about 8 beings deep right now.
That's fine. It gives me time to write while I'm standing in line.
All right. Cool. And who are you writing a letter to?
I'm just writing 2 of them. I want to write one back to Bruxhaven to check in with Sparkle Dust, Gleam. I can't remember his name. I think it's Gleam or something.
It's Boar.
Boar. None of the above. So I'm going to write one back to Boar. That's sort of like a check-in. Let him know we're in Revan. Talk about the other town that we went to that's completely insignificant and that we're not going to build into that town but around it because they suck. And also I will write one back home to my mother. It'll appear to be plainly worded, but it will be written with like thieves' cant into it where she'll be able to pick out,
Yeah. So you wait in line for a bit, and after about 20 minutes of waiting, make your way to the front of the line, where you see a young gnomish woman, hair and pigtails, brightly smiling up at you as she stands on a stool behind the counter. How can I help you today?
I just need to send these 2 letters off to Sharn and find out if I have received anything here.
Okay, yes, and what will the name be?
The mail would come to...
Yeah. What's your fake name for your drop boxes?
It is Terry Silverfoot.
Oh, yes. We've got quite a few packages and letters for you, Miss Silverfoot.
Oh.
And you see she pulls up 2 packages and 3 letters.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll put them off to the side. I'll give her the 2 letters. They'll be correctly addressed. They will not have a return name or address on them since I am under alias in a post office, and pay her whatever it costs for me to ship them.
All right, it'll just be 5 silver for priority shipping for both of the letters, and to receive the mail that's been shipped at cost to you.
Okay, well, what's the total? 5 silver plus what?
5 total.
Oh, 5 total. Okay, yeah, here you go.
Thank you. And she takes it. I hope you've had a wonderful time here at the Revan Post Office. We hope to see you again soon, and we hope you keep us in mind for all your messaging needs.
She's so sweet. I'll give her a piece of the hard candy that's in my pocket.
She takes the hard candy. Oh, thank you. Pops it in. Ooh, that's quite sweet.
I've been told that before, and I'll give her a wink and I'll walk out the door with my packages.
All right. So you walk out the door with your packages. They're not that heavy, actually. They're pretty lightweight. Feels like they either don't contain much, or what they contain is not very heavy at all.
Yeah, so there's the tavern right next door.
There is the tavern right next door, and you hear there's a live bard playing on the patio right now.
Yeah, I'll slip into like one of the back tables on the patio just so I can sit and open my mail and, wait on my friends, not bother them, such and such.
Yeah, you sit down here at the tavern and to open up your mail. And we'll actually come back to you with that here in just a second.
Fine with me.
All right. And we will head over to the bookstore. A lovely little building just by the tower that you were investigating the other day. You can see it here. I'm going to ping it on our map here on the VTT. It's got a little set of stairs that lead up to the store proper, which appears to be above a stable and a living quarters below. You walk up to the door and find that it is unlocked. You can head right on in.
Cool. Is that
You see the sign above says Enchanting Tomes. So you walk in, and you are immediately transported. You are no longer in the bustling dwarven town of Revan, but a lovely, well-lit elven nook with a little fire burning in a fireplace, reading chairs everywhere, and bookcases lining the walls as far as you can see. You see a little counter towards the front with a bell on it.
That'll ring it.
You pick the bell up and shake it, ring it, ding 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 ding. And not a second later, a purplish mist sweeps into the room before you, forming into a beautiful, tall, flaxen-haired elf. Hello, how can I help you today?
Yes, I don't know for sure about them, but I was looking for some books. I don't know if this is the right place.
Oh, quite the right place. Here at Enchanting Tomes, we guarantee we have what you need, or we can find it and get it to you within 3 weeks. If we can't, you get 1 free tome of your choosing.
Well, like I said, I don't know if they wanted anything. What do you have regarding the history of Revan, especially any altercations, battles that have taken place? Any kind of medical text? Oh, we can go one at a time.
For histories of Revan, you'll want to speak to my partner, actually. She'll be alone shortly. Not quite as good with the teleportation magic. She's got to move on foot. But medical texts, I can aid you with.
I'm particularly looking for anything you have on maybe obscure rare diseases.
Yes. Will this be to treat yourself or a friend?
Just personal curiosity.
Go ahead and make an insight check for me.
That's a 12 insight, and I can deception if you want to.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a deception yourself.
23 deception.
23, nice. You see that she looks you over. Well, I can see that you're quite ill. Very. And she reaches over and pinches your skin. Very loose on the bones for your form of health.
Oh, you see many of us, do you?
I've known quite a few in my years. Well, but and on your insight, you catch that she knows you're sick, and not only does she know you're sick, she knows what you're sick with.
Well, if you can tell I'm sick and you're so good yourself, how would you treat me?
I'd bind you to an elemental evil.
I'm sorry, an elemental evil.
Yes. Fill that little hole in your soul that you've got missing.
I don't know that I was aware a soul could have a piece missing, or that it caused an illness?
Yes. Well, tell me this. Were you your mother's only child?
I?
Yeah, you weren't supposed to be. You see, there's a few things that rip a soul. And there's few injuries harder to heal. Fratricide. Now that's one of them.
So what? Wait, fratricide? You're saying I killed my brother?
Yes. Well, killed is a matter of debate. If you're not alive yet, is it really a murder?
According
But
to
yes.
what you're saying, my soul says yes.
Yes, your soul says yes. At least that's what I'm assuming the element is. Weakened constitution, not very strong, magically talented, I see. Yes?
That's very astute of you.
I mean, there's other things it could be, but that's certainly the most likely. Especially with that horrible, sallow complexion. Reznor and Jillian, you're just sitting here seeing Zenlin get roasted for his medical condition.
Reznor is definitely looking back and forth between Zenlin and the elf, and is like, "Is everything good?"
And Zenlin can tell he's getting roasted, and he is frustrated. You could probably tell that like he is holding it back because there's clearly information he wants / needs. And sort of through gritted teeth, he'll say, "And where would one find one of these elemental evils?"
Usually in the pits of Khyber.
Zenlin's gonna take a gamble and reach into his bag.
Alright.
And he's gonna pull out the dragon shard he found that he couldn't fully identify which one it was.
Wonderful. So Zen, you pull out this dragon shard, and you see her eyes flick to it and then flick back to you. Curiouser and curiouser. Yes, that could do the trick. Bind the evil to the crystal to you. And the taint of a soul is not transitive. Keep yourself pure and make yourself whole.
Interesting. You said deep in the Khyber. Is there a name for these things?
There were a few. Rakshasa. Elemental evil. Lord of Dust. And all of you present recognize the phrase Lord of Dust. Essentially, the Lords of Dust are the archdemons of this world.
Interesting. And what of the... I think they're called Drakir?
Dalkir.
Dalekir, yeah.
Yeah, so Dalkir are kind of like a more directly intelligent Lovecraftian horror. They want to invade our world to rip it to shreds.
Okay.
The Lords of Dust have ruled the world in the past in the Age of Demons, long ago. And like the world was still here. It sucked a lot, but it was still here.
Interesting. You've given me much to think about. The other thing I was kind of curious about, because I assume that no medical text is going to give me better information than you just did.
Probably not. Not until I publish my works, at least.
What about any books on the, surveying land, caves of the surrounding area? Bit of a geography buff.
Oh, certainly, we can look for something of the sort. Why don't you come and help me? And she's going to give you the help action on an investigation check.
Sure.
As her partner just begins to make their way up to the desk.
Oh, advantage. 16.
Alright, 16 is not bad. So with the 16, yeah, you find a geological survey of the land that's been done recently. It was done about 30 years ago. And you see that it is marked that there are clearly undiscovered tunnels within the mountain, but neither the entrance or exit can be found. But based on stability and seismic tests, there's clearly something there.
Interesting. And how much would you want for this?
Oh, 5 silver.
That can be done. Let's see what your friend finds on. I don't even remember what the first books I was looking for was anymore.
History. I thought.
History. Regional history, yeah.
So yeah, I'm actually going to say their partner gets up to the front as you're looking around and looks to Jillian and Reznor. You and your friend needed some help finding things? And you see a stout dwarven woman. Looking for history of Revan, right?
Yes, as far back as you can go.
Oh, you're looking for geography books right now. She's talking to Rez and Jill.
My bad.
You're good.
Yes, history books about the area, or if you've got like a newspaper archive.
Yes, we can look about.
Yeah.
We can look about for some history books. Come with me. That should be over in this section. He's going to guide you to the right section. He's going to give one of you the help action on an investigation check or knowledge history check, and the other one can just make it flat. So decide between yourselves who's getting the help.
Let's see. On investigation, I've got a +4. How about you?
I've got a +2.
Okay. Oops, I gotta use this one. All right, I'll take the help action on an investigation check.
Cool. Go ahead and make me an investigation with advantage.
Reznor realizes they're in a bookstore.
Yeah, it's a good thing I got that help. 22.
On a 22, you find a book titled The Fall of the Valkyr, Erngard's Last Stand, which is a history of the fall of Witherinstead and Revan above from about 900 years ago.
Okay. This sounds like a good book for us.
Yep. So yeah, you have found the books you're looking for. That'll be 5 silver as well.
5 silver, okay.
That's fine. I can, when we bring our book up, Zenman will pass a gold over if that's all it is.
Cool. Yep,
See,
Zen,
I knew
you're
this
able to buy
would
the
be
books
cheap.
for a gold. We do have some spell tomes if you're interested. Anyone? Some scrolls for sale as well.
I don't know that I can afford any at the moment, but out of curiosity, what have you got?
Oh, we've got scrolls of destruction, scrolls of barbed words, all sorts of things.
Anything on conjuring?
Oh, a conjurer, are you? Well, I might have something here. Are you looking for more terrestrial beings or extraplanar?
Let's go with the second one.
Wonderful. I've got this here, and he pulls a pair of scrolls out. Each of these will allow you to summon a demon. Blood tax is already paid.
Oh.
In fact, I think, and she leans in and sniffs the scroll. Might be more than just one. Might be a horde under your control.
Interesting. And how much would those be?
I could part with one for 150 or the pair for 200.
Can you hold them? We might be back.
I'll hold them for the day, but come
That's-
closing time, they're back on the market.
That's fair. Jillian, was there anything you might want?
We do have blessings and such.
What type of blessings do you have?
I've got quite the healing spell. Will bring someone back from the brink of death to fully on their feet.
Oh, and how much would this cost?
100 gold pieces and it's yours. For a little out-of-game context, this spell scroll will, if you purchase it, allow you to bring one creature back from making death saving throws to full health one time as an action. If they are not making death saving throws, it will have no effect. If they are already dead, it will not bring them back. So 0 to full is what it can do for you. At a 60-foot range.
Let's see, I do.
You can come back for it later. She'll hold it for you.
Yeah, let me think about that one. I'll think.
She'll hold it for you
that.
the same as the other two scrolls. We'll see you later this evening then, hopefully.
That's the plan.
Thank you for all your help.
Return any time before sunset and we'll be here. And you know what? If you want to catch me after sunset, I'll be heading down to the meadery for a couple of drinks at their bar there. And I'll bring the scrolls with me.
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Alright. We'll go ahead and cut from that scene as you all finish up in the bookstore. Back over to Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, you're sitting down to open your packages.
Yes, packages.
Alright, you open your first package. You've got two packages here. You've got one that's a box, probably about as wide as your about shoulder width length. So about 2 feet by 1 foot.
Okay. Yeah, I'll pull a dagger from my side hilt and use it as kind of like a letter opener. Cut the flaps.
Oh, and and then the smaller one is about the size of a laptop bag.
Yeah, I'll open the bigger one and then the littler one.
Okay. You open the bigger one. You slice the wrapping open it up, and you see a flowing cloak within, stitched painstakingly in such a way that if you move it at just the right angle to a point where it must be intentional, you can see the emblem of the Goradin stitched into the lining of the cloak. As a manticore's tail wraps around the back of it.
I dig it. I like it.
There's a little note in the box with it that says, marking your station as a new active duty agent. Orders are enclosed in the letters above.
All right. She'll just kind of like thin her lips out, and it's that sort of, yep, I was waiting for this sort of situation, like the orders and whatnot. She hadn't received any the whole time she'd been out. All right,
Correct.
so she'll
The last order you got was check this business out.
Yeah.
See if they're a threat.
Yeah. All right, so I want to leave it kind of in the box for now. I'll put it back in, and then I'll open the next smaller package before I start on the letters.
Cool. You open the smaller package, and it is a pair of daggers. Intricately carved. And you see that they both have the image of a manticore's stings. Like, that is the shape they are carved into.
Okay. All right.
And then you open the letters. You have a letter from Lord Morrican himself, Chief of House Kundarak.
Yep.
Kokola de Kundarak, it is with great pleasure that I have heard of your advancement into an active member of the Goradin. The house keeps its eyes on you as you hide from the eyes of all else. Serve us well and be rewarded. Lord Morrican. The second letter from your mother. Kokola, I have heard that you have done well in sabotaging the efforts of this new company to establish a foothold in nearby towns. I am very proud of your work and long to see more of it. Such inspired work as that you had in Zilspar is what is necessary for the Goradin to stay strong. Your mother, Lady Kundarak.
I'm not letting my friends read that one. I'm gonna put that in my pocket. Go on to the next
And
one.
then a third letter that does not have a mark upon it in the sealing wax, but does, you can feel, have warding magic in the wax. You recognize this as a magic that your people can cast, so that when the letter is opened, someone is immediately notified.
Yeah. That's probably
and you recognize this is the way you receive your orders. Yeah.
Yeah.
You cracking it open? Alright. So you crack the letter open.
Yep.
The wax flashes with just that little spark of magic going off. And you pull your orders out. You open it up and you read through it. Agent Silverfoot, it has come to our notice that you are traveling with a known member of a ring of criminals and thieves, it would be in our best interest for you to lose this member of your party as quickly as possible, that their misdeeds do not shine poorly upon the Kundarak name. In addition, we have received information that you have been seen wearing the air patch of Clan Irongut. As such, we would ask that you maintain efforts to retain this position, as it is one that will be of great use to the house in the future. And then it is marked and signed with a stamp at the bottom that you recognize as your mother's stamp. She wrote these orders.
But I think Coca-Cola doesn't
Sorry, what was that?
know who the known criminal is. Known criminal bit.
Give me an insight check. And I'm gonna go ahead and check something here and make a check opposing it.
I got an inspiration. With this book.
It's not bad. Alright, you're looking to beat an 18.
22.
22. Jelly always was a little slick with his hands, slick with his words. There's a chance it's him. There's a chance your job's already done. But it is a chance you're willing to take. I think that's actually where we'll close today's session, is on that question.
This is the You're a bully.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us here for another week at Heroes and Hooligans. We've had a wonderful time playing our Eberron campaign, Gilded Destinies. We hope you were taken in by the deceptions and decisions of this week, and by the wonderful, wonderful character work we saw from our players. Let's give it up for Shen playing Jillian, Dawn playing Zenlin, Hooli playing Coca-Cola, and why am I blanking on your name?
It's Brendan. You can just copy it.
Yep. But yeah, Reznor as Reznor. To be honest. I've been Chipper. I've been your DM this week, and I hope to see you guys Monday. Not this Monday night for Grim Hollow.
No, we're not back
Christmas.
until after the new year. We'll be back with Grim Hollow.
8th,
Yep.
I think.
Yeah.
All right.
One of our party mates, their father had passed away, so I need to give them that time. So
Yeah, of course.
So we will be back after the first of the year with Grim Hollow, but we're not on next week. Are we on next week because of the holiday?
I'm good to be on next week.
Okay, that's fine. All right. We'll see everybody back next Thursday.
Yep. Bye.